Hey, welcome to Operations Unfiltered, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of influencer and talent management. I'm your host and your favorite marketing project manager girlie, Zarina. Today's episode is special because we're not just talking about business, we're talking about being bold in business. We're talking about what it looks like to build a wellness brand from the ground up in a beverage industry that's saturated with billion-dollar corporations, yet still leaves little room at the table for Black women founders. In fact, less than 1% of US beverage brands are Black owned, and even fewer are led by Black women. And yet, right here in the heart of Baltimore, a city that's known a little bit more for its grit than green juices, Mother Nature is thriving. What started as a local feel-good passion has become a powerful force in the wellness community. Not only does this brand serve cold-pressed goodness and healing, but it disrupts an industry that was never built with us in mind. So today, you'll hear from the brilliant founder herself. Kelli is a woman who has taken her love for holistic health and Black community care and business operations, and she turned it into a movement. So if you've ever been curious about what it takes to build a beverage brand, you want to know more about growing community, or you simply just want some encouragement to stay rooted in your purpose, then this episode is most certainly for you. So without further ado, I'm excited to bring you this week's episode of Operations Unfiltered. Thank you so much for joining me. I always give a brief introduction at the beginning, but can you give me an introduction to who you are and give us the origin story of all things your business? I don't want to say it until you introduce it, but give us the tea.
Guys, thank you so much for having us on this podcast. This is amazing. So I'm grateful for having us here. I am Kelli, the founder and CEO of Mova Nature. We are a holistic juicing company based here in Baltimore City. We are providing health and wellness through beverages. So that's functional beverages, fresh juice, herbal teas, all the things. And then we're also teaching wellness education through juicing, through different city facilities, different corporations, things of that nature. So we are 5 years in the making. I like to say we're a pandemic business because we started 2020 is when we started, right in the height of everything happening in the world. Mother Nature showed up, and really the was my sister, Danielle. She was 33 when she had stage 4 colon cancer. She found out in 2019. So this was towards the end of 2019, going into the pandemic in 2020. So along trying to assist her in her journey with cancer, and then with the shift of the world, Mother Nature was created. She was born, and it was really just a process of me learning the benefits of like fruits and vegetables and juice and different herbs and things like that. And as I was learning, I was sharing online. So that's how we were building our platform. I was just organically sharing online.
I love you. Like, I love your mission. I loved you. And the reason I wanted you to share your story is because I actually heard this in person and I want to tell my listeners all about it because I was like so moved. I actually met you at the Cary Business School Community Consulting Lab pitching event.
Yes.
And you were one of the finalists, and your story, the way your energy on stage was just like, it gave me everything I needed to know, I needed to have. So I was like, yes, we absolutely want to know all about you and Mother Nature. And that story, honestly, it takes the worst of the worst, and then a beautiful blessing can come out of it. And I truly feel like that's what your business is, because that's what you gave me the warm and fuzzies when you were talking. So I'm so excited about that.
Yes, everything you said, exactly that, exactly that. Yes.
Yeah, and speaking of that, the community consulting lab, that's where I met you. Can you talk a little bit about your experience with that and how it influenced your business strategy moving forward? And what is that program for people who might not know what it is?
Absolutely. Number one, I'm an advocate for small business to join different programs, whether in Baltimore City, Maryland, or beyond. I think that's a great way to gain deeper insight of how to scale and grow your business, understand operations. And it's also a way for you to get in front of a different audience. And on top of that, you may have possibly win some money, which we got to win second place. So that experience, it was an 8-week program. We got selected and we actually submitted our application like the day of. That was the last time that we could submit it. I was
Yeah.
the video, it would not upload in the queue. So what I did was I went on LinkedIn and I posted the submission video onto my LinkedIn platform, and I tagged John Hopkins Business Carry School. So everybody saw my submission online. And it was like It wasn't together. It was me just, look, this is what we're trying to do. This is how we need help. This is what we need. And granted, this was only for John Hopkins Business Carry School to see it, but everybody saw it on the platform. They saw it and then they selected us.
Yay! Talk about like tenacity. Cause me, I would have cried, I would have gave up. I mean, I'm gonna figure it out, but I would have had a whole meltdown. So that just speaks volumes. And I could just feel that when you were speaking and giving your presentations. I was like, yes, girl, you're gonna get it. Whatever money they giving, you're gonna get it. So that alone speaks volumes. And I'm so happy you made it. But can you talk a little bit about what you gained from that experience aside from I feel like you already have it, whatever that it is, you have that. But what technical skills or what tools that you learned from that program?
Absolutely. So the program it really opened my eyes to learning how to scale your business. So I think we start as entrepreneurs, we have this full vision of what we want to do and how we want to do it. And it normally pictures with us being in the mix, doing everything, because that's just how it starts off, with a vision, a
Yeah.
dream, a little bit of Lulu in there. You just go out there and you try it. And so this is year 5 for us. And I knew that we were at a pivotal point where things have to adjust. And I'm recognizing that in order to grow this business, I do have to step out of the day to day. I have to learn how to delegate. I have to create some SOPs to onboard people so they can know how to make the product like Mova Nature makes the product, and really be a part of a team and grow it. And I think the main thing that I took out of this was that understanding of, in order to grow your business, you do have to step out of that day to day. You do have to create systems and processes for people to come on board, to be able to follow your lead. So that was one of the
Mhm.
major things that I learned. A lot of what they said was start with the ending in mind. So meaning you're not just looking at right now and today, you're looking at 5 years from now. Where do you see yourself? Where do you see your company? And how do you see your life? Do you see yourself doing pop-ups for 5+ years? Do you see yourself working in the kitchen, being on front line with your customers? Or do you see yourself building a team, building your brand, speaking, meeting with different partners and corporations, and really
Yeah.
pitching your business? And what I recognized is that's the stage that I am in right now. I'm in the stage of I'm pitching, I'm ready to pitch. I'm so
Mhm.
speaking to corporations, partner, like I'm just out there now.
And you are ready because, like I said, you moved me so much. I was like, oh no, I need to walk over here. And I was ready to leave because I had to go get my kid. But I was like, oh no, I have to go talk to her because you just made me feel that. And you are absolutely ready for that stage of everything. And you mentioned that they helped you think with the ending in mind. And I loved that because as a project manager myself, I consider myself like air traffic control. And I always tell my clients that we need to see the forest through the trees. So the fact that they echoed that as a business owner, I love that. Usually, that gives me the warm and fuzzies again. That's why I said this connection that I had, I pray the best for your business because you just have such a good energy and I love that. Now, all of this technical stuff you learned, what is your background? Do you have a business background or did you just say, let me start my business?
So my expertise comes from the people around me. I do not have a business degree or anything, but
Love it.
I grew up around entrepreneurs. Like my mom, she had a restaurant for 36 years. And mind you, I'm 35 this year. So that's how long she's had it. My sister's been in business with her graphic design. My other sister was also in business with her clothing line. So I've been surrounded by like women that have honestly taken the forefront and taken control over how they want to make their money. I've had like business mentors around me who have really shaped my mindset when it comes down to understanding like how you should approach business, how to think next level, and really opened my eyes. And it gave me like a firsthand view of how they were growing their business. And they had large numbers. And I was saying like, oh, this is a possibility. And with me, all I need to see is it's a possibility. And
Mm.
go in and do my research and learn what it is that I have to learn in order to get better in business. So I will say today in year 5, I thought I knew so much 5 years ago. No, it's like year 5, me looking at baby Mother Nature 5 years ago. I'm like, girl, yes, thank God you weathered the storm to get to this point, because that's another great thing that I've just learned is you got to weather the storm no matter what business that you're in. You're going to hit those roadblocks, you're going to hit those bumps. And if it wasn't for the people that were around me, that were like my mentors and things like that, I don't think I would have been able to push through to get to this space that I'm in now.
I love that. And it's almost like you really had to bet on yourself And
Yes.
then you got that frontline experience, which I feel like it's oftentimes looked over, but the value of seeing people doing it, and that's a word, being as long as I see you can do it, I can do it. I
Yeah.
love that. And the fact that you're doing it, you're probably modeling that, not probably, you are modeling that for someone else. So again, kudos to you. I don't know, I'm getting all the vibes. Now, okay, so you're running this wellness business, you do the physical products, you do the live engagements and experience, and I know that can be so much to handle. And I want to know what your work week looks like. What does a day in the life of Mother Nature look like, especially if you have a live event? Walk us through that.
Okay, so a live event, it's like you got to prep days prior to that. And because and I'll say live event like catering, or I'll say pop up, but I'll use catering for more of an example of how you have to prep for that. Because our products are fresh made, it depends on like the style of, do they want pre-made bottles or do they want us to juice on site? So we offer two methods. We can juice live on site for you to see the whole start to finish, which requires us to bring in our setup, our fresh fruits. We have our cups. We just have the whole thing set up like a mini mocktail bar. So
Oh,
that's
I love that.
or there is the pre-prep where we are making the juices prior, and then we have to get that together for the next day. Because currently we don't use any preservatives, we don't have anything in there that would make the shelf life be like 10 plus days. We're looking at 4 to 5 days shelf. And I want to make sure that when we do these events, you're getting the freshest product possible. So a
Yeah.
lot of times it's the day before you're prepping for maybe 75 to 100 bottles for these companies. And yeah, 75 to 100.
That's a lot. Oh my goodness.
So it's really a matter of strategic planning out my day, because more than likely, if I'm prepping for an event that day, I either have to teach a workshop later on in the day. So I still have to be prepared for that. I have a lot of emails that I'm going through because, again, I'm in the growing stage of Mother Nature. So I'm pitching all throughout the day, all throughout the week to people. Hey, Mother Nature
Head
needs
is
this.
spinning. You have all this stuff going on.
And it's strategic. So it's not like I'm pitching everywhere, but it's key people where I'm seeing these events popping up, or I'm seeing certain things. LinkedIn is a gold mine. I'm like seeing stuff and I'm like, okay, I got to get on that. And because we just finished the CCO program. Before that, I had to be logged in with the CCO program. That was like a 3-hour program on Monday. So I had to get prepped for that, but we still had work we had to complete. It's a lot. So I think for me, the work week is really about utilizing your calendar.
Yeah. Yes.
It's utilizing your calendar. It's making sure mentally and physically I'm in a space to be able to handle the week, because sometimes it does get overwhelming when you gotta, and people think sending emails is simple, but you
No.
gotta
It
think.
requires research. I always say that. You gotta pre-pitch before you pitch and
Yeah,
post-pitch and follow
yeah,
up, and it's a lot. It's a job.
it's a job in itself. But luckily I utilize ChatGPT. So for
Amen.
the business, please utilize ChatGPT to assist you along with that. But it's day to day, it's constant. But what I'm working on now is shutting it off at a certain time. I'm shutting it
Mhm.
off so that I'm not so 24/7 business, while also understanding that I am in a real I'm just in a pivotal point right now where it's just like
Yeah, you're in the growth phase, like
I'm
the super growth.
and it's like Mother Nature has to capture it now because the energy is here and the
Yeah.
on us, and there are opportunities flowing our way. So I gotta make sure I'm giving them the right deals. I gotta make sure I'm reading through contracts. I gotta make sure this is a good partnership for me. And yes, so
I love that, and it's like I said, you're really in the growth phase,
yeah,
and I understand that you mentioned that you're doing all of these, but at Operations Unfiltered, we like to understand who are the people, processes, and tools that you use. Now, is it just you by yourself? Do you have an assistant? How do you do all of these things?
right now it's me. So I'm doing
What?
multitasking in me right now. I've grown to be able to develop a skill to be able to multitask. However, I am definitely at that line where it's saying, Kelli, you can't do that anymore. So
Yeah.
with the prize money that we just won, it's definitely going to bring in staffing for us. So again, we throughout this whole program, we created our SOPs, we created our systems so people can understand like how to make this product exactly like how our customers are used to it. So bringing them into that fold, so that relieves some of that work for me and also helps me be able to bring in more business for Mother Nature. So up until this point, I've had people come and for different catering events or different pop-ups, I've had people come out to assist and to help. Yes. However, I'm looking at now more of a consistent, because we're getting more and more inquiries about, hey, can you come out here? Can you come out here? Can you come out here? So it's like,
you need some logistics support. Live More Agency. I'm gonna have to hook up with you, girl. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you. And we really are in the wellness era. We're in the Erewhon era, the Whole Foods era. Everybody cares about their body. So you are right. This is the wave that you gotta ride this one, girl.
It's the time.
Yes. And speaking of which, managing all of this, you mentioned that you have your calendar. Are you a pen and paper type of girl? What other tools and technology do you use? I know I'm a Google Drive. I use Smartsheet in some of my organizations and some of the companies that I help. Did CCL offer any tools that you could use? Just let us know what you're using to keep all the things organized.
Yeah, so they heavily emphasize the cash flow projection sheet, which was really done through Google Drive and Google Sheets. We utilized that. So that was one of the main technical tools they spoke about. Also, Will Holmes was he was our mentor there and our teacher in this program. He heavily emphasized the use of AI. Now, he had so many different AI tools outside of Chat GPT, and it was a lot, but he heavily emphasized how you can utilize AI and then you can save your money as opposed to paying out for people to come in, like an operations manager or something like that. You can kind of train AI to be able to handle a lot of different parts of your business, like admin support, checking in, like certain things I was being exposed to watching his own story about his AI tool that he was using. It was answering calls. It was responding to emails. It was doing so much stuff that I was like, people think of your business industry and they think of it as one way, like, oh, you're in food, oh, you're artist, or you're this. But AI transcends all of those industries. And there's a way in which we can use AI to help alleviate some of the tasks that we have to do, help us save some money. It's just, it's phenomenal what AI is doing and what it's going towards. And I would encourage people to log onto it. But
I love that you're embracing this, because I do work with a lot of small business owners who are really nervous about it and they're shying away from it. But you're giving us a success story that, hey, I'm going to incorporate this into my daily life. So kudos to AI. I call it Allen Iverson. So yes, we're going to continue to use Allen Iverson. Now, Mother Nature is both business and lifestyle. I consider it both the business side of it because you are selling and doing things like that, but it is the lifestyle, the wellness experience. But when you're creating the content and you're posting things, this is the question that I always ask of each of my guests, because the discourse about this subject is so real. So, do you consider yourself a content creator or an influencer? Why or why not?
I think that I am actually an influencer. Yes, I'm an influencer. Content creation is something that I learned how to do. Like, I learned how to do it before we had Canva. We learned how to do these things before Reels started to really take off. Like, I would say, yes, content creation comes for me second, but influencer I feel comes to me first, especially because of how we got our name. It was through organic following online. And it just so happened that we were doing it at a time where a lot of small businesses started to take off because people were looking for answers and solutions in a different place. I felt like for the first time in decades, people were looking towards like social media for information where they may have been looking at another source for that. So I felt like during our in the beginning, 2020 to 2022, I would say, we were definitely on the forefront of being a safe haven for wellness. Not only did we have Baltimore residents asking us for products, we were shipping out of state, like as far as California, South Carolina, Florida, like we were shipping sea moss and herbs to people during the pandemic for 2 years straight. So
wow.
I would definitely say that's where we were. We were pushing the juices. We were pushing the herbal teas. I would like to say we were a part of one of the first group of people to really be pushing that during the pandemic. And it just shows our resiliency and just shows that during a time where it was a serious change in life for everyone, we were outside mass stuff.
Yep.
Dropping off juices to people and dropping off sea moss to people, just showing up. So I would definitely say I am more of an influencer. It could be a micro influencer, it could be whatever. I know I influence people on my platform and I try to utilize it in the best way possible. And I try to still be myself on there.
So what type of content would you say do you post? Do you post like the traditional, like day in my life type of stuff? Is it all of that, or is it very structured? What type of creator are you, given that you are an influencer?
I wouldn't say day in the life because I feel like day in the life is too much for me.
Yeah.
I feel like it's too much for me. And I also feel like it comes a time where it's no longer just organic day in the life. I feel like it starts to get performative. And the last thing I want to do is be performative on social media. Like I don't want to get trapped into I have to be presented a certain way. And I've felt like times where I've needed to present myself in a certain light because I am pushing wellness, I am pushing health, I am pushing this image where sometimes people would see me outside and they would be like, oh, like I pictured you in this like very much like Earth godmother type of vibe.
Oh no, not Erica
Yeah,
Badu.
it was that. And granted, we love Erica Badu, and I do give those in certain spaces. But
Yeah.
I'm a native of Baltimore City, so I'm still me. I'm still just live. I'm still me. I'm still vibrant, and I'm pushing this culture of social health. So I wouldn't say it's day in the life. I would just say it's information based.
Love it.
It's raw. I post a lot about business failures, honestly. A lot of people are looking at my page now and they see a lot of wins happening for me. But for the last 2 years, I posted my lows because we did open up a storefront and we did have to close it. And I
Yeah.
did lose almost all my money and I did have to go back to my mother's. So much stuff happened, but I was very vocal online about it. I was just like, look, I'm in a pivot of a season of pivot. And
Yeah.
in that online at that point where were just people were posting their highs. And I think you have a right to do that. But for me, I was like, look, this is where I am because people were asking me as I returned back outside with my juicer and my tent, they were saying to me, what happened to your storefront? And I said, it's closed. I said, I'm outside. I said, rent is high. I wasn't in the right neighborhood. It was a lot of stuff going on, but I made a decision to come back out because I believe in this brand and I believe in this product. And I believe just because I made a decision in a space that didn't work out, it didn't mean that was the end of my business. So I post like very real, very raw content, very self-empowering health content.
Stuff we need to hear because again, we
Yeah,
see a lot of wins, but we need to know what happened prior to those
yeah,
wins. We need to know what happens in between that. And
yeah,
again, everybody shares when they're up, but nobody shares when they're down and how you rebuilt from that. So I
yeah,
love that. I appreciate that. And I'm
yeah,
gonna go back and scroll through because I might need some motivation because I'm like,
yeah,
girl, I'll be so ready to throw in the towel as an entrepreneur. I mean, I still have my full-time job, but I want to do something that fuels me. And you know what I mean? And I get so discouraged that imposter syndrome is so real. So seeing stories like you, hearing from the other women that were in your cohort, it just really motivates and pushes me forward. So I love that you share that content and I encourage you to keep doing it because it brightens up my feed. I hate all the salesy stuff. I need to
yeah.
see that, you know? But to that point, I do know you are selling a product. So
Yes.
if you had to work with a content creator or your dream influencer, who would it be and why? And what would you want them to do? What would you want them to try? What would you want them to taste?
I don't think I have a favorite influencer. I feel like even though yes, to answer the previous question, I said I would more so resonate with being an influencer versus a content creator.
Yeah.
I feel like this stage of business and this stage of my life, I'm really looking to connect organically with people. I've seen that viral is good, but
Yeah.
there is a backside to viral that isn't that good. And businesses don't speak on how sometimes you go from having your normal maybe 50 customers a day and your operation can handle that to your business went viral and now you got 500 people at your door looking for you to deliver the same experience that you gave those 50 people without a moment.
Speak on it.
And I what that does to businesses on the back end. It starts off good. It starts off with people wanting to have a mission, with wanting to support, wanting to show businesses love. But then it turns into the conversation of, oh, the service took too long, or oh, this wasn't up to par, or oh, this wasn't all that. And then it turns into people going into your reviews and they're giving you 1-star reviews. Like it's a slippery slope there. And I think that for me in business now, I am past the part of show and tell. It would be great for an influencer to get my product, and a few influencers have taken my product. They've done videos, things like that, which I'm so appreciative of. However, now I'm in a space where I'm like, I would like to go viral within the corporate spaces where that are cutting my check can see what's going on, and I go viral in that.
She said coins, please. I know that's right. But to that point, what does success look like for Mother Nature? What is that? Is it a number? Is it a coin number? What does that look like for you?
Success for me means that Mother Nature has made its name, and she's made her name. She's made a space for herself. And I feel like we've already done that, but I'm looking at it on a much bigger scale. Like I said, you hear a lot about me talking about corporations and partnerships because I'm going for these larger spaces, these larger companies, because I want Mother Nature's product inside of their hotels. I want Mother Nature's products inside of their universities. I want it in the stadiums.
That would be amazing to wake up and get a fresh juice instead of a coffee, because I'm a coffee addict. I need to relax. So if I had a juice option at a hotel, come on, idea, that would be nice.
Yes.
I'm thinking like the Ivy. That's a Black-owned hotel in Baltimore.
Yes.
Something like that. Let me put this into the universe. Maybe you need to talk to Visit Baltimore or some of these. My wheels are out there. They call me the Olivia Pope of marketing. It's handled. Let me put it out there.
No, but you're spot on. Like that's where we are. And I feel like Mother Nature has enough clout. I'm gonna say that. We have enough,
period.
And we have a phenomenal product. And we also have an amazing CEO, which is me. So
no, that's right. Pop it, friend.
I know how to pitch myself, and I know we have an incredible story backing us. And 5 years isn't a long time to really, 5 years is not a long time in business world. But for 5 years, even with the months that we were down, I've gone hard for this company and hard for this vision and hard for this match. It's never changed. And I'm back here, and I'm not letting up. And that's what this year has given me. It's given me that energy and that confirmation. You're not letting up, you're leveling up. So when I say,
say that one more time.
You're not letting up, you're leveling up.
Oh my goodness.
And wholeheartedly, every conversation, every pitch competition, every cohort I join, I make sure that my mark is made there by speaking on our story, by really speaking about our losses and where we're trying to grow to. So for me, success looks like Mother Nature's name being exactly where I envisioned her, in these spaces where she's going to get paid the money that she's worth. Also being able to give back to my community, being in my spaces, and being that bridge between the information and the person, like connecting them with that, because I believe that wellness is for everyone. So it's like, I believe that success is it's my birthright, and it is here for us.
Cry.
And it looks like peace. It looks like giving back. It looks like stepping in these rooms that people may or may not think I belong in, but I know I belong in there. And it's just me saying, at the end of the day, I want to look back and say, I did it. It's something innate in me where I'm just like, I did that despite I did it. So that's what success feels like and looks like for me. You probably felt that from me in my pitch as well.
Absolutely did. That's why we are here today. I told you, I said that energy, it like shook the room a little bit. I was like, okay, girl, yes, ma'am. And honestly, I feel that here. I felt that through looking at your profile. And I honestly, like I said, when I started the interview, I really hope nothing but the best for your business, in whatever form of success that means. If you want to be in the storefront, I will be there purchasing it. You know what I mean? Like, I want that for you. And since you are running all of this by yourself, this is a lot. How do you prioritize self-care, especially being that you run this wellness business? You have to take care of you. You can't pour from an empty cup. So what does self-care look like for you?
Yes, and I'm so glad you said that. Self-care looks like me looking at my calendar and incorporating my downtimes. It looks like me making sure, and I just actually spoke on this yesterday, where it's just, being in that fine line of growth, but also, you still have to have your life too. So it looks like me going out to my local eateries, chilling out down there. I may still have my laptop, but I'm not on there all the time. It looks like me just enjoying myself and enjoying my outings, making sure I'm still connecting with my family and my loved ones, and just taking a moment to take it all in and relax. I feel like you're absolutely right. You cannot pour from an empty cup. That's what I did when I opened my store. I was pouring from an empty cup and I crashed, and it was just not a pretty crash. It took me a while to recover from that. So I think it's important for people that are in wellness or any type of service field. You have to go back to self, because you cannot show up for people if you can't show up for yourself. So it looks like that. It looks like my hour therapy sessions with my therapist. And
come on, therapist. Black women in therapy is like a vicious tool, man. Like when we get to therapy, it's a problem. So I love that. Because I can even hear the self-awareness. Like it has helped me so much. All the Black women entrepreneurs that I've talked to that are in therapy, it's like you can hear it. They got a sense of, I don't know, it's just something, a je ne sais quoi, as they say. It's just there. I feel it.
energy is so beautiful.
Yes. Okay, so you mentioned that CCL gave you all of these SOPs, they gave you all these technical tools, but you know, every day is still happening. Is
Yeah.
there one process that you still need to adjust or tweak? One workflow that you're like, it's still not hitting right. If so, what is that, and what are you planning to do to address that issue?
I think it's still surrounding the SOPs. Honestly, it's still surrounding that, because it's, as I'm tweaking recipes and I'm tweaking different things that I feel like I'm trying to adjust with the movement of the beverage industry. It's like I have to continue to adjust, I have to continue to narrow down, and I have to do what makes sense. So it's like I have to do these, like, whether it's me mock doing it so I can kind of time myself to break down this stuff, or it's me actually doing it, but I have to remember that, okay, because when you're in the mode of creating, you're just like, all right, I got to get it done. But also people don't move as fast as I do when it comes down to this type of
Yeah,
stuff.
because this is your brainchild. They like,
Yeah, so it's really that, and then it's also getting together this strategy for our catering, more so our catering. Our pop-ups, I would say we are still doing pop-ups, but I'm being very strategic about that, because I feel like we've popped up everywhere. We popped up everywhere, but now it's about popping out where it makes sense, where you're going to get clientele after this, or you're going to get a partnership after this. Like my main focus is always what's coming after this. I'm not just coming out here to sell you guys juice, but what am I getting after this? Am I going to be a part of a conversation about partnering later? Am I going to do that? It's always long term for me. So I would probably say getting together the strategy for our catering events, because they are getting larger. Again, we got people requesting 100 bottles from us, and that's a lot of juice.
yeah, that's a lot of. I'm just sitting over here like, what? Oh my gosh, I can't imagine a prep day for that. I'm stressed with my own personal juicing. That's why I'm very sporadic in my juicing journey. But I couldn't imagine making 100 bottles of juice, and then you got to deliver them.
You got
Oh
to
my gosh. Oh no.
set up, you got set up, you still got to interact with people. You're explaining, and depending on what type of package they got, you're either on site explaining the health benefits of it, you're talking, you're mingling, like it's so much that's going into this. And once again, I recognize that I've handled it up until this point, but I recognize some of the people that are reaching out to me. I'm like, oh, I need that money to come in sooner from CCL, so that I can go ahead and bring in my juice and interns.
Yes, not the juice and intern. I love that, but you do. And even maybe like high schoolers who need some service learning hours, they can come help. There's some people that need to be, and I know I'm gonna toot my own horn, my alma mater, Stevenson University, they have a great business communication department. Perhaps they can help you with some events, let me write that down. Reach out to Stevenson and connect the dots.
No, I love that. And one of my best friends, he used to go to Stevenson University. So yeah,
Go Mustangs.
no, you're absolutely correct. So that's where we're at right now. So you want to see some Mother's Juicer team running around and really representing this brand. And also I got a firsthand look at what that looked like with our student interns at Johns Hopkins. Like they also had to pitch for us in their presentation of Mother Nature. So seeing how they handled Mother Nature, seeing how they fought for Mother Nature and what their perspective of what we were and where we were going, it made me fully see, there will be people who love this brand as much as you do.
As much as you do, and they will take pride in it as much as you do. I didn't realize that until I saw those pitch competitions. These people love that company, and I was like, oh my gosh, y'all really are invested. It was really lovely to see. I love that. And that's why I was like, okay, this program is really doing things in Baltimore City.
Yes.
So I know you are based in Baltimore City, but do you have visions or plans for expansion? And if so, maybe we can get an exclusive. Where would you want to expand to?
Absolutely. I would definitely love to expand along the East Coast. So maybe Philly, Florida, things like that. I want to New York, like I want to go down the East Coast line, but I'm also very interested in West Coast. I'm interested in
Hmm.
Colorado's, things like that. And all of that comes down to one thing, and it's us getting a co-packer. So this is where we're talking about big expansion and big numbers and what that looks like. So I feel like this is the next elevation for especially people in the beverage industry, because a lot of what I see is, yes, people, they create the juice company, yes, they're doing the pop-ups, and yes, they do like local cafes, things like that. But when it comes time to expand past that, you have to start having different conversations with folk in different levels, different arenas. Then you're starting to look at what does different investors look like. You're looking at how are you raising your capital, not just through I'm selling 1,000 juices, but I'm entering into these different pitch competitions where you don't have to actually be in a program to enter into a pitch competition. You can just go into a pitch competition, and those $5, $10, $15,000, they start to rack up. So now you have your seed money to go ahead and invest that into how do I increase the shelf life of my product. So for me, I have visions of expansion of Mother Nature far beyond Baltimore City. However, it first starts with that one thing that we are currently working on, and that is getting us connected with a co-packer and then expanding our product from there. Once we get the finalizations with a co-packer and once we get that and the mock-up, it's the sky's the limit. And that's all.
Yeah. I love that. And I truly believe that will be the case for you. And I realized we didn't even go down the list of what products you guys have. I know you mentioned the juices, you
Yeah.
mentioned herbal teas, but give us a quick rundown of the products you have. And then also tell us what your favorite product is.
Yeah, we have the juices, the fresh juices. We offer that in our pop-ups. We also offer that through juice cleanses. We have the herbal teas. Our bestseller is the Mother's hibiscus tea. I have to get you some of that.
I need this. I need all this. All the juices, the flavors you mentioned during your pitch, I'm gonna let you tell them, but I was like, oh my gosh, I wish they had some here tonight. They sounded so good.
Yes, no, I know. The Mother's hibiscus, that's a great heart healthy drink, great for your gut health as well. Hibiscus, number one, is just a great just herb to have in your cabinet for immune system, heart health, all the things. And then we have sea moss that we sell as well in different herbs. But again, in that pivotal point of whether or not I'm going to still keep selling it or not. But that's also a great product as well. It has different herbs in it for energy boost and mental clarity. So you're looking at like lion's mane mushroom, you're looking at maca root, all those things that are adding into your just added boost for your
Like the overall holistic wellness. I like that.
yeah.
Now, how have the tariffs impacted you and like the rise in grocery prices and how have you pivoted with that?
So tariffs have hit us like it hits everybody else. Pineapples were $1.29 in
Not to the cent. I know that's she know it.
129. That was in like Aldi's. And this is when I was like going into grocery stores. So like Aldi's or Sprouts, I saw like Sprouts lowest for like $2 or some cent. Normally I'll go into these type of spaces if I haven't made it to Restaurant Depot or if I haven't made it to any other farmer's market that I find. But now I've seen a pineapple go for $5 in the same size. So has tariffs affected us? Absolutely. Because
And I'm even thinking like your plastics, your bottles that you use. Oh my goodness.
it's everything, the cost of everything has risen. So having to raise prices on what we're offering, but making it still be valuable for people and not just, well, we're raising price because this is that, but still making sure people see the value and understand we're raising this because everything else around us is raising up. But it's all a part of the growth in your business. And I feel like you have to have those buffers in there, especially when you're pricing stuff out for those increasing costs. So you get down to like, how much does it cost to make your product? That's down from ingredients to the bottles, to the tops, to the labels, all that. How much does it cost? And then, you're adding in, where's your product going? Delivery, all those things you got to add into. And then how much does it cost for you to actually make the product like per hour? If it wasn't just me, if it was somebody else, you got to add that in.
Oh my gosh, girl, you in here doing big math. Oh my gosh.
It's scary because numbers have always kind of frightened me. So
Yeah.
especially when you're talking about larger numbers, like it's frightening me, but I've learned to embrace it. And especially like with this past program, it made me much more comfortable with numbers and understanding you got to get down your numbers to the T. And you can always bring somebody in, you hire a CFO to make sure your numbers are correct. However, you still need to know what's going on down to the penny. So it takes a bit more.
$1.29, she said. She said the pineapples were $1.29, so down to the penny. I'm not like, hello.
You got to know it. You got to know what that looks like. And then just add your buffers in. Everybody's charging higher prices everywhere with food, everything's going up. So people buy what they find value in. And you just got to continue to increase your value while you're increasing the cost of your product.
And not feel bad about it because, again, everybody's going through it. So I love that. You've been giving so many gems throughout this whole show. So I hope everybody had their notepad and notebook. But if you had to leave our influencers, entrepreneurs, content creators, whoever is listening with one piece of advice as a business owner, a woman in business, a Black woman in business, what would that one piece of advice be?
Sorry, sis. Thank you for having me. I would say keep going. It sounds so simple, but keep going. And you will feel when you are getting ready to take off. It's a different feeling. And if you've experienced any type of loss, embrace it. Embrace it. There was a point in time where I thought I was not going to come back to this space because of the grief that was surrounding my business and everything. But I remember asking that question of, this is what I'm supposed to do. Give me the strength to get back out. And sometimes it's about lowering your ego, going back outside and just showing back up and with a smile on your face. And if anybody asks you what happened, this happened. And now
be honest. I think that vulnerability is what builds loyalty. That vulnerability and that openness truly is what make people come back to you. So that is some big advice. Keep sharing your story. And you said, keep going. I love that. I love that so much. And I'm gonna keep going myself. I didn't quit and started so many times. I done got frustrated so many times. Producing this podcast alone is a quit and start journey in itself. So yes. Now, I'm in my book era. I keep telling people I'm reading Set Boundaries to Find Peace by Nedra Tawwab. Is there a book or a podcast, a song that you are absolutely loving right now that keeps you in perfect peace or helps you turn up, whatever the case may be? What is it and why?
Some people said on my account, like, I just got this book from the co-founder. I just got this book and I really want to actually look into it. But to be honest, I have not had the time to actually sit to get into that. But I think I'm always inspired. It doesn't take much for me to get inspired or to feel motivated. I can have a conversation with someone and they tell me something and I'm like, oh my God, like, how do I connect with what they're saying to me and how do I turn that into my own thing? So I'm deeply inspired just by conversations from regular folk walking around, because everybody has some insight in a story where you can find some motivation in that. And I've learned how to hone in with people to be like, oh yeah, I'm taking that advice and I'm going with it. As far as, people that keep me motivated, it's always probably going to be like music for me too. I'm such a hip hop person that there are certain artists to me that resonate with this winning and fighting spirit. And it's always going to be Jadakiss for me on my own.
Okay.
It's always gonna be Jadakiss. It's always gonna be Styles P. Like, it's always gonna
Any
be
particular song or just their catalog in general?
It's their catalog in general. If I start listening off songs, girl, we'd be on here all day. But one for Jadakiss I always play is Can't Stop Me. That's like my number one like pusher. And Styles P has so many amazing records, mixtapes where he just speaks about just the grit, the hustle, and pushing forward and moving through things. And I feel like what I've learned how to embrace is the grit and moving through things, because I recognize it's not about your wins and it's not about how you can avoid pitfalls. While that's ideal, and that's where I'm at right now, avoiding the pitfalls.
Yes, we want to avoid the crazy.
But it's like, what happens when you don't avoid it and you get hit and you get caught up and you get knocked down and you're now hanging off the side of the ring? What do you do then? Because a lot of times that's what shows you what your character is. It shows you where you need to do some more work, and it shows you really who you are in those moments. And I used to be so scared of getting hit in spaces or just not being able to recover, that these last 5 years forced me to have to recover. It forced me to have to say, okay, You're saying you're this person. Let's see it. And I
I
don't
know that's right. Show me. It's time to prove it.
know how to prove it. I don't think that the universe like is out to harm us. I'm just saying that certain things happen where you have a choice. You either gonna get up or you gonna lay down. If you lay down for a while, it's okay. But you know, when it's time to get back up, you're gonna get back up. And when you get back up and you keep going and you stay connected to God and to the source, you stay connected to people that love you and support you, you're gonna make it on that other side. So for me, I find that energy through music that I listen to. I find it through conversations that I have with people like yourself, just sharing your journey, sharing your story, me being inspired about you putting yourself out there and me knowing how hard it is, not knowing the full story, but I know how hard it is to put yourself out there and believe in yourself, even when you feel like maybe somebody's not looking at you, maybe you feel like you should have had another opportunity that somebody else got. Like all these things about putting yourself out there. And I feel like that is where I draw my inspiration from. I'm no longer afraid to fail because I've already failed. But now I'm just up. And
You preaching today. She pop it, friend, today. Pop yo, you know that saying, pop your shit, friend. Pop it, friend, because you were just
yeah.
I love this. I love this. And I'm, ladies and gentlemen, the Mova Nature. Okay. How can we keep up with all the things that you have coming up? How can we buy your products? What is the next event? I want everybody to support in whatever way they can. Put your Cash App out. No, I'm just kidding.
So we're on Instagram under Mova Nature. My Instagram is Mother Kel, so they kind of join together. So you can find us on there. You're also able to purchase products on our website. We are getting ready to go through a whole website deconstruction so it can really update with everything that we're offering now. But you can still go on there and buy your things. You can book us for catering events. You can book us for wellness talks, pop-ups, things like that. So all that stuff you can get
So
now.
all the employer resource groups, if you're looking for events, I used to work at Care First in Baltimore City and Canton. They used to have cute little events, so they need to reach out. Listen, I'm gonna be all the people. Carrie, they need to have you back for an employee event there. Come on now. What's up?
They do, absolutely. So yes, that's where you can find us, and then just different pop-ups that we decide to join. We're connected to Pratt Market right now, but I think we're going on next month. I think on the 15th. We'll also be visiting the Juneteenth at the Eagle Park. So yeah, we got a few things coming up, and I'll be posting it on social media.
Yay! I'm so excited to keep up with all the things. I'm gonna make sure I tag everything in the episode description, and of course, when I post it on all the socials. But this has been so insightful for me. Like I said, your energy was everything. I knew I had to have you on here. I think I met you like 2 weeks ago, and
Yes.
you are already on the show because that energy was there. So I'm wishing you all the success. So excited for you. And again, thank you so much for being on the episode today. I hope everybody learned something because I did, and I got all the feels again.
Thank you so much, and I'm wishing you equal success. You are just a beautiful energy. So thank you so much.
Thank you.